With the country deep in the throes of a nursing shortage, big questions today about a new edict from the Department of Education. The department no longer considers nursing as a professional degree, a move critics warn could shrink an already strained workforce. The reclassification will limit the loan and loan forgiveness options available to students in those nursing programs.
Trump, you are on my last nerve, and I have been a fan from the beginning. I was all for MAGA, whatever the fuck. Make America great again, right? Can't make America great if you ain't got nurses, right? Because apparently they're not professionals now, right? Apparently they have not made the Trump administration list for professional jobs. They left nurses off. I don't know if that was a mistake, but I know they got a proofreader somewhere doing their job. So what do you mean nurses are not professionals? People that are saving lives. Are you kidding me right now?
Folks, America is truly a wild place. You cannot blink twice before something new and shocking pops up in the news. And I swear, if you look away long enough to pour cereal, you'll turn back to find out Wall Street just found a way to monetize breakfast flakes. And today, we have one of those stories right here on my desk. If you haven't heard already, Trump's Department of Education is working on changes that, surprise, surprise, would conveniently help billionaires get even richer. And one of the methods in this little policy upgrade is lowering the institutional value of certain degrees by removing their professional classification, meaning students in those fields can't take out higher ceiling loans. And guess what profession did not qualify as professional enough? Yep, nurses. Imagine that. It's almost comical, if it weren't so deeply ignorant, that Trump and his team somehow don't grasp how essential nurses are to society. Nurses are the backbone of patient care, the emotional anchors of hospitals, the first responders of compassion, and yet, apparently, someone in Washington thinks they're on the same level as amateur hobbyists. Before I go any further, let's roll a quick clip showing exactly why Trump, of all people, should respect nurses more than anyone else. Roll it.
This is the hired caregiver that provides 24/7 care to this dementia patient. This is Natalie Harp. Her job title is executive assistant, but really, she makes sure that this dementia patient doesn't wander off somewhere, like the goddamn roof of the White House, for example, hypothetically. I'm a physical therapist with a doctorate in my field and 14 years experience in home health care, treating geriatric patients with dementia, just like the president. Natalie is the one who types up and posts all of his social media posts. He dictates them to her. She filters and interprets and then types them up. And then you bet your ass she shows them to Stephen Miller before she hits post. You can't just have grandpa saying anything on the internet, can you? He doesn't know the word seditious. She knows that word. That's why it was posted. This is a break from reality. There is no source or data that would support him saying he has the highest poll numbers of his political career. The polar opposite is actually the truth. Why would he post something like this? Because he has frontotemporal dementia. But all the people closest to him need to keep grandpa around because he's their meal ticket. Grandpa is the one that built this cult. And when he's gone, the cult will fracture. So many people are saying he's going to be worse. That's impossible. He didn't build the cult, and they don't have an emotional connection to him the same way they do to grandpa. On top of likely frontotemporal dementia, he probably also has heart failure, chronic kidney disease, and some history of stroke or TIA. I'd say he's got 4 to 6 months left in the land of the living. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Jump scare.
The fact that he depends on such a professional this much and still has his team tear down their profession says everything. Anyway, in today's video, we're going to shed light on one of MAGA's latest fumbles, and specifically highlight how some MAGA-aligned nurses, who swore up and down that Trump had their back, have finally gotten front-row seating to the FAFO theater. Because Captain Tangerine has once again proven that the only person he cares about is himself. If the working class is a ladder, he doesn't climb it, he stands on it. If you're new here, welcome to the space where we break down the MAGA mindset without losing brain cells, hope, or emotional stability. And to my long-term viewers, Thank you for your continued support, your thoughtful engagement, and your patriotism in the face of absurdity. All right, folks, let's dive in, shall we?
Are you kidding me right now? Nurses are literally the branches of doctors. And you're not just talking about like nurses. We're talking like, it's talking like nurse practitioners, physician's assistants, and up. Medical doctors. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Now I want to see this list of professionals. But at the end of the day, someone who understands the anatomy of the body and how it works and the homeostasis of the body and how all of it works together. Trump, you better hope something don't happen to you. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? If you drop dead right now, nobody might not give you CPR if you go into cardiac arrest. They just might not. I'm just saying. Like, what in the world? What in the world? I hope that was a typo. I hope that was a typo. What a wild time, too, to decide this, being that there is a shortage of nurses right now. You know why there's a shortage of nurses? Because we are overworked, understaffed, too many patients, and not appreciated. They want to talk about, it's not even a shortage of the nurses, really. I mean, it is and it's not. It's about the scheduling. They are pinching pennies to keep them nurses in there. They're pinching pennies to have so many nurses to so many patient ratio, nurse to patient ratio. Lord have mercy.
And today, this FAFO video is for all of those that voted for that fool that just so happen to be teachers and nurses and veterinarians too. Yes, how do you feel today? Because of Daddy Dumpy Pants ripping up the Department of Education and changing things in this nation, you're no longer a professional and you no longer hold a professional degree. You might as well be flipping burgers at McDonald's, baby. And this also goes out to those in those particular professions that didn't vote for him. Yes. When I came on here several times over the past few months and said that this shit ain't gonna end until we do a mass blackout, not just withholding your money, but not showing up for work. We need nurses to walk off the job. We need teachers to walk off the job. People came for me. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You came for me. You started making up all kind of excuses why you could not walk off the job. How do you feel today about walking off your job? Walking out of that hospital, walking out of that physical therapist office, walking out of that dentist office, walking out of that veterinarian office, walking out of that school. How do you feel today about that? My daughter is currently trying to apply for a federal loan to go to school for an advanced teaching degree to work with children who are disabled. The kind of children that Daddy Dumpy Pants believes should be put to death. He even said that about his own nephew. Thought it was a waste of time and money to provide health care to his own nephew. Should just do away with him. Get rid of him. And now today, my daughter no longer qualifies for a federal student loan and a degree where she wants to do nothing but help provide an education to the least among us, honey.
Hello and good morning. Listen, in today's episode of The White Hood Turns, I know y'all have heard that the Department of Education is declassifying certain degrees and taking away their professional status. Okay. Well, listen, I want to be petty. And I just want to know if y'all want to be petty with me. So I have an accounting degree. An accountant is listed as one of these degrees that, won't be professional. It's just one of the degrees I have. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Listen, the reason why I want to be petty is I know two ladies who have children that are currently in school for jobs, degrees that are on this list. But that's not the good part. I know they voted for Sid. And you know I'm petty as hell. Y'all know I'm petty as hell. So, I was all too happy to kind of bring it up in conversation. Like, so what y'all think? What they gonna do? What they gonna do? Are they gonna graduate? Are they still? I just want y'all to know it did not go over well. But I love this because I'm like, hey, I'm losing my professional classification with my accounting degree. I don't really use it that much anymore. But I'm just saying, I love this. And I love it for all the people who are MAGA that have jobs in these fields. Because again, it's all well and good, right? It's all well and good until it affects them. I just wonder, did they think that the immigrants were getting those degrees? Is that why? Oh, no. Nurses, physician's assistants, physical therapists, educators, teachers, social workers. No. You know what that is? These are heavily female-led professions.
Nurses and teachers are no longer considered professionals, according to Trump's Department of Education, along with physician assistants, physical therapists, nurse practitioners, audiologists, architects, accountants, other education degrees, social workers, other mental health degrees, and a number of other healthcare professions. And this is all to drive people towards private student loans. Because without that professional classification, well, it caps the amount of federal student aid that one can receive from the government at $20,500. If you have that professional classification, well, that's now capped at $50,000. Professional classifications include doctors and lawyers. Degrees that routinely cost $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 are capped at $50,000 in federal student aid. The other ones are between $40,000 and $80,000 routinely, and is now capped at $20,000. This is all to drive individuals towards those predatory private student loan companies ran by private equity firms. So while the government's going to make all of us that may be pursuing an advanced degree or a degree in general poorer, they're doing so to enrich companies that are already worth billions and billions of dollars.
You all know that whenever billionaires are mentioned, I have to step in and put things into proper perspective. America is structured in such a way that capitalism doesn't just influence society. Capitalism runs the show. And the man in office loves nothing more than to make sure his billionaire friends get richer and richer, while ordinary people are left struggling, convinced that the real enemy is immigrants, or rainbows, or critical race theory. But let's take a step back and look at this objectively. America's problem is not a left versus right issue. It's not an immigrant versus citizen problem. It's not white versus black, Christian versus Muslim, gay versus straight. The real divide is rich versus poor. And the poor, the working class, are the ones being carved up on the economic chopping block while the elite feed on opportunity, land, and influence. And here's the trick. The wealthy have mastered the art of distraction. Oh, look, that man over there is gay and he's trying to push his lifestyle onto you. Meanwhile, someone quietly secures a $1 billion contract. Oh, look, that person is from Mexico and they're brown and they're taking your job. Meanwhile, someone is quietly buying up farmland and privatizing it. Oh, look, that family prays differently than you do. They're trying to convert your children. Meanwhile, someone is quietly dismantling your healthcare access. It's always the same playbook. Distract the masses, divide them, turn them against their neighbors, while the elite class moves silently in the background, reshaping the country in their own favor. And here too, the system is revealing itself. These newly non-professional degrees, nursing, teaching, therapy, will push students into private lending institutions. Those institutions will make billions off interest, penalties, compounding debt, while people, especially women in these fields, sink deeper into financial dependency. And I have to say it, these fields are dominated by women, and the MAGA movement has made it abundantly clear what it thinks about women. Stay quiet, stay modest, stay domesticated, and stay economically limited. And somehow, I am still baffled that so many women supported Trump. especially when his policies have repeatedly worked to box them in, not lift them up. This isn't accidental. This isn't incidental. This is structural. Let's keep watching.
So to all of my nurses out there, next time you go into work, I want you to think you're a MAGA nurse. Thank them for losing status as a professional in the eyes of Trump's Department of Education and never being able to afford an advanced degree or go to PA school, CRNA school. Think your local MAGA nurse. Thank them.
About a year ago, maybe more than a year ago, let's say a year and a half ago, on my big main account with all the followers I had made a video. I just got off my shift and they needed help. So they called me down and asked if I would do some intake in a different department. And I said, sure, why not? Overtime's overtime. Great. So I went down, I was helping them do intake, and I had a red hat. And I had a conversation with this red hat that I tried not to have. I asked him several times, can we just focus on your intake? I don't want to talk about my military service or your hat or anything. He saw veteran on my badge. And then he proceeded to say, oh, you just white. Trump's going to get all these illegals out of your hospitals and make life so much easier for nurses. He loves our nurses. And I just got sick. And that video went mad viral. And I got called a horrible nurse. I got called all these things. And MAGA nurses came after me. And it was just fucking stupid. But I have a question for the MAGA nurse crowd now. Are you guys happy to know that you're no longer listed as professionals? Trump just shit on every single one of us in the nursing profession, and you're out here like, more Trump, give me more. What the fuck is wrong with you nurses? How could a nurse be MAGA? And if you see a MAGA nurse, you better fucking ask for another nurse, okay? Know that you have that right. You have that right to request a non-cycle fucking nurse, okay? You have that right as a patient. I just want to know how all these MAGA nurses are doing now, you non-professionals. Huh. I guess your aspirations being a nurse practitioner are fucking gone. Are we great yet? Toodaloo.
Did you know that there are some healthcare professional degrees that are now no longer considered professional under new federal rules? And most of the ones that have been eliminated are those that are dominated by women. So let's break this down because the ripple effect is bigger than most people realize. So under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the government has changed the way graduate student loans work. If your program is labeled a professional degree, you can borrow up to $50,000 a year and $200,000 total. But if it's not classified as professional, you're capped at $20,500 a year and $100,000 total, even if your degree costs far more than that. So now federal officials say that its intention was to standardize in which degree counts as professional to control federal spending. That means they focused on historically high earning licensed fields like medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, law, optometry, veterinary medicine. But here's the concern. Many of the degrees that are excluded from the professional status are the backbones of our healthcare system and overwhelmingly staffed by women. Don't believe me? Here's just a few examples. Nursing, 90% women. Speech language pathology, 95% women. Social work, 80% women. Occupational therapy, more than 80% are women. And these are the exact fields that are now being pushed under the lower borrowing caps. So let's talk about what it actually means. Most of these degrees cost $80,000 to $150,000 to complete. So without access to federal loans, students are going to have to turn to private loans with higher interest. And most simply won't be able to enter these fields at all. So this just isn't a student problem. This is a healthcare system problem. We're already facing a projected 200 to 450,000 nurse shortage in the next 5 years. National shortages on speech language pathologists, OTs, PTs, and mental health care providers. Rural communities rely on nurse practitioners, physician associates, and allied health as one of their primary care workforce. So reducing access to these degrees doesn't save us anything. It's actually shrinking the pipeline, it's worsening burnout, it will increase wait times and disproportionately harms women, first-gen students like myself, and low-income communities. And the people that are feeling the impact, it's not the policymakers, it's the patients and the frontline clinicians who are already stretched thin. Genuinely curious as to what you guys think, especially if you're in one of these professions. Please let me know what your thoughts are.
Of course, the policymakers never feel the pinch. Their kids aren't taking out loans with 20-year repayment terms. Their future isn't dependent on a degree being classified as professional or not. Their retirement isn't tied to salary-based forgiveness programs. They're insulated, cushioned by wealth, power, and legacy. But the voters? The students entering these fields, the nurses, the teachers, the therapists, the social workers, they will feel the consequences. They'll feel it every month when the bill arrives. They'll feel it when the loan interest quietly compounds. They'll feel it when they're choosing between groceries and repayment. They'll feel it when they're 40 and still carrying debt for a degree that the government decided wasn't professional enough. And this, right here, is why we do the work we do on this channel. Because your vote actually does make a difference. Your political belief is not just an opinion. It's a ripple in a system that becomes policy, which becomes law, which becomes lived reality. Don't just yell into the void on social media. Don't just argue with strangers in comment sections. Don't just repost memes and taglines. Go out and pick leaders who are willing to confront this systemic inequality at its roots. Look at New York. Look at what happened when they elected Mamdani as mayor. You saw it, plain as day. The billionaires circled like vultures. They went after him. They tried to discredit him. They tried to block him. Why? Because he threatened the machinery of economic extraction. He interfered with the system that turns human struggle into profit. He stepped onto the field and said, "No, this city belongs to the people who live in it, not to the ones trying to buy it." And the elite didn't like that. Not one bit. That's what it looks like when power is confronted. That's what it looks like when someone goes beyond symbolism and touches the source of the inequality. And I want you to think about that deeply. How many politicians are simply mascots, and how many actually disrupt the game? How many leaders solve problems, and how many simply perform leadership for applause? At the end of the day, we have to ask, do we want a government that serves the wealthy, or one that listens to the working class? Do we want a future where education is a privilege, or one where it's a doorway? Do we want a society built on division or on dignity? I'm genuinely curious what you think about this topic. Share your thoughts. Your perspective matters here. Let me know what discussions you want to see next, what issues you want brought to the table, and what questions you want challenged. And if you made it all the way to the end, thank you. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for thinking critically. Thank you for having the courage to question the narratives we've been fed. You are the reason we keep breaking bread. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care and keep thinking.